Hey everyone, it is Elsa932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me for another unsolicited advice segment. So if you are here, please hit that like, hit the share, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel so we can all grow together. And if you missed it last Friday or this past Friday, we had a time with Unscripted. I didn't know how much fun we would have considering I had nothing planned other than the topics you wanted me to talk about. A time was had. We had a great time. So we're going to do it again this Friday. Of course, schedule permitting. So this is unsolicited advice. And I have, for the first one, I have someone from the audience who wanted to talk about something. And I didn't know if it was unsolicited advice or if we should have it as a topic, but they asked for it at unsolicited advice. So here it goes. So it says a woman is stuck with a $3,100 dinner bill after her blind date refused to pay for the 23 family members she brought along with her. Of course, you see exactly there where the post came from on IG, just to give credit where credit is due. Yes, but she brought 23 family members along for her date with this man. Y'all, I don't know where y'all are dating. I don't know where this is. But to bring 23 family members along with you on your blind date or whatever it is on your date is redunculous, okay? It says here, she is stuck with the $3,100 dinner bill after her blind date refused to pay for the 23 family members she brought with her. I don't know where this is from. Hey, Letitia, glad to have you here. I don't know where this is from. How do we bring 23 people? Now, I know I have a backup friend in the times when I used to date. I'd have a friend know my location or a friend there. If I'm meeting someone I hadn't met before, a friend, tucked in a corner, watching, observing, and knowing what's going on. But to bring 23 family members on a date, that seems to me to be excessive. What are we doing? What are we doing? So I think she should be left with the bill. 3,100 people. First of all, why are we racking up a bill? Because before we even order from the waitress, I'd be like, listen, I'm going to cover your meal, but your family, they got to cover their own meals. That way, there ain't no misunderstanding. We can have a tizzy fit, whatever, before the bill comes. But ahead of time that your 23 family members that you brought with you on this date, I will not be covering their tab. Hey, Letitia says, hell no. 23 people for a blind date. She needs to be stuck with that bill. Yes. Hey, to go to Africa. Glad to have you here. Yes. Yes, for those of you coming in, the post says she is stuck with a $3,100 dinner bill, after her blind date refused to pay for the 23 family members she brought along, as he should refuse. I'm sorry, I am not feeding the entire family. I understand a chaperone, you can point them out at the bar if you want to, but I'm not paying for 23 family members. There should not have been a date if 23 people showed. Girl, it ain't a date. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. I don't know where this is from. It could be cultural. I don't know. There are some cultures where a lot of people come to kind of chaperone, but the groom the gentleman is not expected to foot their entire bill. They're just there to observe, not part of the festivities. So I really don't think that he should be stuck with the bill. And I wonder how he got out. I have questions. Y'all, I always have questions. How did he get out of the restaurant and not pay the bill? Did he use I'm heading to the bathroom, I'll be right back? And did he slip out to valet and just leave? Or did he sit there and tell her, hey, I'm not paying for your family. I already paid. I took care of your part of the bill and mine, but I'm not paying for all of your family. Have a good evening and walk out. I want to know how it happened. But that's just me. I like to see how it happened. because all we have is the, write up and the photo. We don't know how, he left her with the $3,100 bill after she brought 23 family members for this blind date. I'm sorry. You can bring a friend. They don't even have to be at the table with us. But if you feel like a blind date, you need to be safe. Your friend could be at the bar observing us. I don't even, if I'm your date, I don't even need to know. But 23 people, and I got to foot the $3,100 bill? Do you know how expensive dates are? You may not be the only lady he's dating. $3,100. Daggone it. Somebody split the bill. Somebody. Yo, that was the first one. That was, of course, viewer requested for us to talk about. And I was like, how do we end up in these situations? I'm sure he's going back to the person who set him up on this blind date and say, listen, how dare you? Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? To Go to Africa said, that's so selfish and inconsiderate. I'm curious about other things that she has tried to stick him with. Right. It's like, is this the reason why she isn't dating a whole bunch of people? Is this a reason? Because, he could cover your meal, but to bring 32, how intimidating is this? First of all, meeting my family is a privilege. You ain't going to get that privilege on a blind date. I don't even know you. I don't even know if I want you knowing who my family are or you being around my family. So you, blind date? First of all, no. And not all of them are coming. 23? Now, my family may take up all the tables at a restaurant, but we ain't expecting you to pay the bill. Everybody might be around. You may not know, who is at the other tables. But my family may be coming, real deep. But, Hey, Elsa Chat, sorry, I'm late, stuck in traffic. Girl, we understand traffic. We do understand traffic. We're talking about this young lady, blind date. She brought 23 family members with her, but the man left her stuck with the $3,100 bill. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. If I was him, it would be gracious if he covered her bill, his bill, and left, and you got to cover the 23 family members. But guess what? We ain't having another date. We ain't having another date. Hey, Moon Dust Angel. Yes, we ain't having another date if you going to come through with 23 family members and a $3,100 bill for a first date blind date. I'm sorry. We can't kick it. We can't kick it. Unfortunately, there's probably something she does often. I mean, I've heard of, and I've seen it on social media, that, some dates decide to take a few entrees home. Sometimes it's for their children or other people at the house, or maybe they just want meals for the rest of the week for work. I have heard that. But to bring people, and then it is 23 people, I need to know. You see, here's where I'm like, what kind of restaurant is this that we can cater to 23 people? What kind of restaurant? Because I've had birthday dinners, but I haven't. Have I done 20? Yeah, I've done 25. But you have to schedule it. You have to, organize their, private dining room. So I'm going to ask the question: how did they cater for the 23 people that came along with you? How do we get seated? See, he's a gentleman that he allowed us to get seated. Because I would have seen the 23 people you came with on this blind date before the $3,100 bill, and I'll be like, I made a reservation for 2. I don't know where these 23 people that she brought with her for this date. Hey, I said what I said. Glad to have you here. I want to see. I don't know where they're gonna sit, but I made a reservation for 2. Once I seen all those individuals, I would have exited immediately. No date would have been had. Exactly, Letitia. We wouldn't have had a date. Now they had to have been coming straggling in, must be, because there's no way a reservation for 2 could turn into a reservation for 24. Happy Sunday, AK F350. Glad to have you here. We wouldn't be seated. How could we be seated? See, it's 2 and the 23. How did they get here? How did the 23 other people get here at this restaurant? Did y'all bus it in? I mean, the church bus holds 25. 26 if you include driver. Did y'all have one of those short church buses that y'all came through in? So that's the type of thing my sister does. I usually tell the waitress that she's responsible for the bill and walk out. Ooh, not the sister. Not the sister to go to Africa. Not my sister. No, no, no. No, 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 no. She probably called the restaurant and made the arrangements. Well, once I heard and saw we are being directed to the table for 23 or 20, 25, I would have been out. Would have dipped to the bathroom and never returned. Right, Samantha? I asked that. How did he leave her with the bill? Did he say, I'll be right back, go to the restroom and walk out? Or did he say, I covered you and myself and then dipped out with them on, with the bill? Not the church bus. Girl, that church bus. That church bus be carrying people. Not everybody can have the Benz van, but that church bus be, carrying around a whole bunch of folks. And if it's 23 of them, I don't know how much valet, how many cars deep we gonna be just to have 23 other people. Y'all, that was one of you guys sent that to me and asked me if I would talk about it. So if you want to, this is on Instagram. You could, send me a request to discuss, and I'll see if it's interesting enough to include here. Okay. Letitia said he probably covered them too. Yeah, she probably did cover the two of them, and that would be a stellar gentleman, because I wouldn't have even sat down. That's why he will be a gentleman if he covered the two of them. But if he just walked out, I wouldn't have minded. Even if he just had one drink himself and walked out and didn't even eat. Mm-mm-mm. But yes, y'all can certainly send me a message, and that was a viewer request. So let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. Y'all know we get from mild to spicy when we do unsolicited advice. And I have a few for you. So let's go and start with the first one. It says, this lady, a 36-year-old female, does not want to date me, 39-year-old male, but is asking for a huge favor. I went on a couple dates with this lady, then asked her to be my girlfriend. She said she was not interested in a relationship with me, which is totally fine. But now she's asking me to replace the upstairs windows that's like 25 feet off the ground and is stuccoed in. So it's a huge ask. I'm pretty sure she isn't planning on paying for anything either. How do I tell her that this is a boyfriend-husband level favor? I wouldn't want to date her at all after this, because I feel like either I was coercing her or she was using me. And neither of those things are anything close to what I want. How do I say no without seeming like such, a skis that is trying to trade favors and relationship for home remodels? This is for the ladies out there. What is your thought process for the lady in question? Y'all, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Hey, High Vibe, glad to have you here. D Brown has stepped into the building too. Stepped into the building. Yeah, Letitia's looking. She's looking and she's pondering. So she doesn't want. She had a few dates. We're guessing she did not bring her 23 family members with her. She had a few dates. He said, hey, can we take this to the next level? Can we be exclusive? Can you be my girlfriend? And then you decline that, but you want him to replace the large bay windows that's 25 feet above the floor. You want him to replace that, and you're going to pay nothing. Letitia says, find out if it's a paid job first. If not, then politely decline. That is a great way. Say, hey, since we are not in a relationship, we are not together at all, how is this going to be facilitated? If it was me, I would just tell her that this is a very inappropriate thing to ask someone you don't want to be with to do, that she should seriously think twice. She should. It's like, why ask for a favor? I feel like I'll be indebted to you if, asking a favor. I'd ask what her parents would think if they knew she was behaving in this manner, asking other people for things. I said what I said. I would let her know I'm not your man. That's relationship-ish. He said this is a boyfriend husband level, and I ain't there. You have declined my invitation. I'd really give her the name and number of my handyman. Well, I wouldn't even want somebody that I work with knowing, her, because then she'll have access to me. But I understand where you're going with that. Back in my day, I'm going to date myself. Back in my day, we used to have something called what? The Yellow Pages. So Samantha, to go on that, I would probably tear out the Yellow Pages section for handyman and hand it to her. But we no longer have that. But there's certainly a list of handymen that she could certainly find that she could do, have do that job. Because he asked you, he went on dates and you declined, he can't be that bad. First I was like, well, why doesn't she want to be his girlfriend? Something must be wrong. But he can't be that bad if you're now asking him for a favor. Or am I just my head are in the clouds? Or my head in the clouds? Because I'm like, I wouldn't want you around. I wouldn't want you around. Munda Angel said it's such disrespectful thing to ask for that. How you say no really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Angie's List referral, that too. The Yellow Pages, I'm sure that's what you're laughing at, Samantha. She can Google it. She can Google it. But again, he can't be that bad if you're asking him for a favor, unless it's like, I really don't want him, but I want his labor. Did he think it was dating and she was actually interviewing him for a handyman position and he thought it was boyfriend? We don't know. We really don't know what she's thinking. So y'all, that was the first one that I had planned. Let's go to the next one. If you have any unsolicited advice for this young man, this young lady, please put it in the comments below, because we're all saying he don't need to be doing this favor, because guess what? He asked to be the boyfriend. If she played the cards right, she could have had a boyfriend and a handyman, but now she has neither. Now she has neither. You gotta learn to play the game, young lady. Gotta learn to play the game. So here's the next one. Let me grab it from my notes, pull it up. Said, my girlfriend makes significantly more money than me. The girlfriend is a 33-year-old female. This is a 35-year-old male. He says, but she never offers to pay for anything. How do I bring this up without sounding like a gold digger? My girlfriend makes a little over $300,000 annually. I make $80,000. We're both divorced. However, mine is fresher, 2 years versus her 5 years. I bring that up because I'm still paying for it financially. I had to take out a huge loan to pay off my ex, my lawyer fees, etc. She always talks about how she's investing X amount of time here, Y amount of time there. Anytime I'm paying for all of our dates on my credit card because I don't have any cash. I don't expect her to give me money for my problems. That's absolutely not what this is about. My issue, however, is she wants to go on a date to a new restaurant, movies, whatever. She never offers to pay, not even split the bill. I usually am just stuck, with it, and I just offer to pay because it's a gentlemanly thing to do. She invited me to a concert last week. I don't even know the artist. And the day before, she says, I realized I only purchased one ticket when I thought I got two. I ended up having to pay almost double the price for a last minute ticket to the concert she invited me to and initially said she had two tickets to. Another example is I spent a whole weekend building a playground in her backyard. It took me about 18 hours of work. I didn't expect payment at all, but I would have accepted, her to treat me to dinner. After I finished it, we went out to eat, and yep, she did not offer to pay again. How can I bring this up without sounding like a gold digger? I think she does love me. We've been together for around a year, and I genuinely think that we are happy. I'm just struggling financially dating her. Y'all, he is struggling dating her. He's struggling. I wonder if she felt she could ask this because it gave her friend vibes, even if didn't want a relationship. Just Rhonda, hey, how are you? Glad for coming by. Y'all, please visit Just Rhonda's channel if you love your housewives and other reality TV. I will let her know I can't afford it, sweetie. I said what I said exactly. I can't afford it. I can't afford to go to the concert. You got one ticket. You're gonna have to go on your own. And this is the kind of conversations you gotta have. If this is your girlfriend, y'all may be exclusive. The way you're sounding, It sounds like you're doing a whole lot. She has accepted being the girlfriend, unlike the first, segment. So maybe you say, hey, I'm divorced. It's fresh. I have to pay all these bills. We don't have to take this slow. We can do one thing. We can cook together. We can't go out to dinner all the time. And that's a significant difference, y'all. Did y'all see the significant difference in the paycheck? She's at 300,000 annually and he's at 80,000. That is a significant difference. You simply have to be direct, sir. Tell her that you're paying for everything is simply unreasonable. If you can, say so. I'm guessing that's what you meant to go to Africa. I know some people don't think to offer to pay for things if someone is always paying for them. It's like they're checked out. He speaks to her about it. She may not even mind it at all. She may not mind. She may think that he got it. He believes in a relationship, but she sounds like she's got one foot out the door. He cannot keep up with her financially. And is it a need to keep up? If I was him, I would lay it out exactly what he pays, explain he has to pay these things and doesn't have enough money at the moment to be affording dates and that she could pay for them sometimes too. Exactly. Exactly my thought, my sentiments, exactly. And hey, ladies, I have to say this. If at all, I will tell you this, if y'all listen and go to Little Black Book 91, he always talks about dark arts. Yes, I used to use this as a dark art method, but it is certainly a great gesture. If you're going out with a gentleman, maybe this is your boyfriend. This is not, no, we don't know. This is your man exclusively. You could just pay the bill. And he would be shocked. Many gentlemen would be shocked. Some are like, oh, heck no. But at least one time for the boyfriend, not the casual date, for the boyfriend, it can go a long way. They really do appreciate it, that you even considered it. Some may be a little tizzy because they believe the gentleman should pay. And, some will be like, you know what, thank you for thinking of me. Or just buy the dinner and have it at the house. If she is in that tax bracket, she has to be smart enough to know he cannot afford her. Sounds to me like she doesn't really like him. Sounds to me, D. Brown, you may be correct, and she may like the handyman skills that she doesn't have to pay for. I'm sorry. It may be the handyman skills she doesn't have to pay for. It doesn't sound like he's even living with her. Did y'all peep that? It doesn't sound like he's living with her because he said, I just put, that playground, I built it in the backyard at her house. So it sounds like they're not living together. Sounds like she has kids as well. So again, he's afraid to have the conversation because he thinks she will dump him. High vibe, I do agree with you. I think that because of the tax bracket difference, that he's going to believe that she's just going to be like, well, you can't afford me, be gone. Has he misled her into thinking that he has more than he actually has? Does she know about his salary? That is a good question. Great question to go to Africa. Does she know how far down the totem pole he is? Does she know? Or has he always been flexing and flossing like he had it? We don't know. Just tell her you don't have it. If she's a real one, she will understand. Exactly. If she's a real one, she will definitely understand you ain't got it. She likes the maintenance man skill, also why he's dating out of his league. Now, does the maintenance man like what he's maintaining? Because it seems like he likes her, but he can't afford it. You really cannot. And sir, here's my other question. Why are you dating then? If you cannot afford to date, if you cannot afford concert tickets and all that stuff, why are you dating? Dating requires a certain budgetary level. And now you are dating from the sky, somebody who in the sky suites while you're in the nosebleed section. I'm sorry. I make less than my boyfriend, but he doesn't end up paying for every date because that would not make me comfortable. For every date he pays for, I pay for one, and I'm always contribute to it. Exactly. Hey, K Sharp, how are you? Welcome on in. We're on the technically third one, but second one that I have. We had the viewer request was the first segment of today. Also, why is he going to give himself so much stress trying to keep up with things he knows he cannot afford? This is not good for his mental health. That is so true. So, guy, what we're saying is you need to talk to her. If this is your girlfriend, as you said, and if she truly is your girlfriend, you have to talk to her. Just because she's making 400,000 a year and you're making 80, you could still have a conversation. And if you do lose her, then hey, that's it. That's it. That's it, and that's all. It was a wonderful experience. It was a learning experience, and go pay your bills and then end up back in a dating scene. That's all. There are many men who talk and act like they have a lot more than they do. They are, people always act. People be acting out here. There it is, El said, well stated. If you cannot afford to date, then don't. Or at least date in your tax bracket. Date in your bracket. And sir, there are, I don't know where you are in the world, but there are certain cities and towns where you do have wonderful dates that cost nothing. There's symphonies in the park that cost nothing. There are concerts at different levels in different local towns in the town squares that cost nothing. You may go out for dinner, you may grab something from a food truck. You may need to date on a different level because you're in a different tax bracket and you are paying for your divorce. Hey, Elsa and chat, catch me up. Hey, Miss Boogie Down. We done had the first segment was about this young lady with a blind date, and she brought 23 family members and expected him to pay $3,100 bill. Second one was a lady who didn't want to be a girlfriend, but she wanted him to change the window in her house. And this one, he's dating out of his tax bracket. She makes 400,000, he makes 80 a year, and he can't keep up financially because he's paying for the divorce. How's that for a catch up? You can have plenty of time cozy dates that don't cost the earth. Get some nice takeout, watch a lovely movie, have a rally, a good date night doesn't cost there. Right. Right. Maybe he should try to stick around and reap the benefits financially from her in the future. Well, we don't know. We don't know if really any benefits in the future. Miss Boogie Down, yeah, you missed a good bit. You missed a good bit. Y'all, let's go on. Yes, K Sharp, please replay the first one. We're trying to figure out that one. Y'all, if you do, the first one was a viewer request. If you have a request, send me a message. My IG is right there on the screen. Send me the story, and we'll see if we can give some unsolicited advice. Let's go to the next one because we have a few to get through, and we are going to chat it up today. So let's see. The next one is about my wife, 32-year-old female, expects me, a 31-year-old male, to share my salary, but refuses to share hers. We've been in a relationship for 8 years, married for 4. Recently, my wife found out that my salary increased. She became furious that I didn't tell her earlier. I understand where she's coming from and why it may have felt like I was keeping something from her. The thing is, she never shared her salary with me. And when I've asked in the past, she said a wife doesn't need to tell her husband how much she makes, but a husband should be open about it. She believes it's only the husband's duty to share financial details. To me, this is not fair. I believe transparency should go both ways in a marriage. I'm not against sharing my income with her. In fact, I want us to be open about our finances, but it's hard to be fully open when it feels like it's one-sided. I've tried bringing this up, but the conversation quickly turns to her accusing me of lying or hiding money. It's become a pattern over time. Whenever I express my feelings or try to set boundaries, I'm met with blame or suspicion. I'm feeling emotionally drained, unsure how to continue in this kind of dynamic. I want a fair and trusting relationship, but right now I feel stuck. Has anyone else dealt with this type of situation? How do you navigate financial transparency when one partner has different expectations about roles and fairness? That may be part of her culture. They definitely need to discuss it. Sounds like the one lying and hide. She sounds like the one lying and hiding the money. AK F350, you were reading my mind. Maybe she has brought it up in a traditional old-fashioned family where the man is expected to share his salary and the woman is expected to keep hers to herself. I don't think what she's doing is fair. Well, if it's traditional old-fashioned, then maybe she wouldn't be working. If we go in traditional old-fashioned, he would be the one working and she not. Her hypocrisy is quite rich. She can't have it both ways. By the way, if he did this, we would be calling him out. Just because a woman is doing this does not mean we would not call her out for this. Thank you, Moondust Angel. We're going to call her out. We're going to call her out because first let me call him out, okay? We're going to call her out. But, sir, what were we talking about before we got married? How did she get to wife? And we don't know how she feel about finances. How did we get there? Unless she lied to you. That's the only grace I will give you. How did she get a ring and we did not talk about finances? That is baffling to me. That is baffling to me. All that should have been discussed before he walked down the aisle. Thank you, I said what I said. My opinion, both partners need to share. They are married. Her stance, in my opinion, is not cool. Right, D. Brown? What's wrong with sharing his salary and the wife keeps hers? I do understand the male perspective because money is not the same as it was in 1950s. That should have been discussed before. It should be discussed before. And the thing is, this is a household. We two have become one. Two have become one. So we are in this together. I'm just saying, we in this together. Right? I was wondering how she got to be wife. Right. If she makes well less than him, she may feel insecure and would be wise that she doesn't tell him this and maybe start to heal. Exactly, Elle said. Where's the conversation about the role we play in this marriage? It seems like we didn't talk about it. It seemed like we ran down the aisle and forgot a lot of conversation. It's not always the case. Many African men have wives at work and they pay 100%. I understand that. But my thing is, we got to talk. We got to know what the finances are. How does he lead and manage this household and he doesn't know what's going on? How does he? He doesn't know what's going on. And unfortunately, I have to say, this economy and all this other stuff, what if he's the breadwinner? What if he is no longer working? How does he know what the household is working with as far as salary? I don't believe in just telling him whatever, but certainly, how are we paying taxes? We got to be paying taxes separately because he would know if they're filing taxes jointly. So again, how much is she making? Or is she the $400,000 lady from before and he's making 80 and she just don't want him to know that how much significantly higher she's making than him? I don't know. Why is she hiding it? Has he mismanaged money? But then why would she marry him if he's mismanaged money before? If it's a lower salary, why is it of any significance to hide it from him? I just don't understand why is she hiding. What is her motivation for hiding it and keeping it from him? Other than the cultural aspect, but still, some cultures, the man knows he don't care and he's not tapping her money, but he at least knows what she's making. He should not have been in the middle of a divorce proceeding to find out what she's really making. And this is where it's going to this point. If you're not telling, I'm not telling. Just Rhonda said, hey, don't ask, don't tell. If you don't disclose, I ain't disclosing. She feels she's entitled to know because he is the head of the household and we are living off of his finances. She believes she's entitled to know, as she should. But he's also entitled to know. In our opinion, we are telling you, young lady, unless he has mismanaged funds or some real issue, you are wife. It's not girlfriend, boyfriend. Y'all are married for 4 years and I don't know how much you're making. That to me is wild. That to me is wild. They should have thought about what would happen if one gets laid off or a recession happens. Will she be able to sustain the household bills? He doesn't know. He doesn't even know how much she's saving in order to see if we can maintain if something happens. And I'm not saying to manage and control her money, not at all. This, again, is a husband and wife. This is a family. Y'all are in this together. If you haven't discussed such a serious matter, the marriage may not be strong. What else have they not discussed? To go to Africa, it seems like, I don't know if they discussed children at this point. It seems to be some heavy conversations they have not had. I'm not comfortable as a woman relying completely financially on a man. I share everything I make with my partner so he knows what I can and cannot afford, and it works so fast. They should discuss this. They should moon dust, Angel. I don't understand how you don't. I was shoot when I was dating my husband. Where your W-2s? I don't want you to tell me. I want to know what you told the IRS. Because them three little letters, you might lie to me, but you can't lie to them. I'm not marrying you and not knowing your salary, credit score, dependence. Can he have and can he have mine also? He can have mine, sorry, also. Yes, I need to know your salary, credit score, dependence. I need to know if he had a previous divorce. What does your divorce decree say? What are your liabilities, kind sir? These relationships are weird to me. Whoo, child. I said what I said. Yes, it is weird to me too. I don't understand how people have these kinds of relationships. How do you get married? She went all the way to the altar, and years later, and he now is at a point where he's upset. Not upset, but he's concerned that he doesn't know what she's doing. What is she making? And it could be a legitimate concern. We don't know what's happening. I'm thinking, I'm just guessing, something could be going on in his job. He's been hearing rumblings of downsizing, and he's like, wait a minute, we got to get this household finance together. I need to know how much you're making to know how we can move forward. And then here she is holding the information. Sir, I gotta say, you should have been talking about this before the ring got on her finger. Because you know your salary. Now you're going to have to probably hire a forensic auditor to find out exactly where her money resides during a divorce proceeding if y'all get there. But sir, y'all don't have to talk. And she's going to have to, speak up and say exactly what it is. So y'all, whatever you have to comment, please leave it in the comment section below. Let him know your thoughts and your feelings about this. And let's go on to the next one. Let's pull up the next one. So this one says, I'm 28-year-old female, and my close friend, a 32-year-old female, is house sitting and is wearing our clothes. How do I address this? My close friend is staying at our house. We're on holiday. We saw her on the home camera wearing our clothes on several days. How do I deal with this? I'm currently away on holiday with my husband and family. We asked a close friend and colleague to stay at our house to look after our pets while we are away. We pay her a daily rate as well as extra money for food. We also have a helper that comes in on weekdays to do cleaning and washing, so she doesn't have to do much besides being there and look after our pets. Last time she was house sitting in December, there were some minor things we were not comfortable with. For example, she logged out of all of our streaming devices on our TV, and for some reason, our couch was full of stains, not the normal ones that dogs mess up on the couch. I didn't bring it up with her at the time. I was upset, but it wasn't much major issues. So now she is watching our house again, and we've been checking on the camera, and now and then we see that she is wearing my clothes and my husband's clothes for at least the past 3 days. The clothes she wore were all packed away in our wardrobe, which means she had to dig around for them. She also wore a pair of slippers of mine that was still brand new and wrapped up in a package and tucked away in the back of my closet. I'm quite uncomfortable and upset over this. I want to believe she didn't have any bad intention and probably just thought I wouldn't mind since we were so close. How could I possibly address this without completely ruining our friendship? Y'all, what do you think? To go to Africa says she gotta go. She gotta go. It seems an extreme invasion of privacy. I'm so uncomfortable with that. Why would someone need to be wearing my clothes? This is where that weird girl needs a lot of help. Talk to her on the ring camera and ask if that's your clothes and ask her to not wear them. She seems to have no boundaries. Why did you bring her back? AK-350? F-350? Please. First of all, I ain't telling you on the camera. I understand. Because what if the friend goes ham and I'm not even in the country close to my house and she messes up my house? I ain't telling on the ring. I ain't telling her while I'm long distance. Why would you have her back? This is just asking for trouble. If you're stupid enough to ask for her back, you deserve this. Ma'am, if you can afford to go on vacation, then be able to put those pets in a hotel, problem solved. Okay, Sharp, I do understand. I used to put my dogs too in a doggy hotel. Then I would also have one that the vet had. My dogs didn't like it because it was just too much stress with too many dogs at once. And I understand. I have paid for the nice ones, and my dogs are like, no. So I understand what they mean. So instead, I have, one of the kids locally come twice a day and take, feed them and just watch after them. But I understand. You ain't staying in my house. Exactly, AKF for 350. She never should have been rehired. Right. Why can't the person you have coming by pay them extra? You know they ain't wearing your clothes. They shouldn't have her there if they are paying her and she's doing that. She obviously irresponsible, untrustworthy. Right now she ain't a friend. Right now she's not being a good friend. Why are you digging in my closet? First of all, you gotta be in the guest bedroom, which you have your own bathroom, the guest bathroom. Why are you in my bedroom? Why are you in the primary bedroom? Why are you digging around? Why are you taking the tags off my stuff and wearing it? What is going on? Now, full disclosure, I am not one to have had, sleepover with girlfriends and we doing each other's hair and we, wearing each other's clothes and borrowing stuff. No. Closest person that has ever borrowed anything from me is my mother. That is it. So the whole wearing somebody else, no, 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 no. If I buy the clothes from, let's say, a secondhand or consignment store, fine. But to wear a friend's clothes, no, no, no. They don't trust her. That's why they're watching her on the camera. Clearly, AKF 350. If you need to have her there, lock the bedroom door and leave her free reign of what's left of the house. But Moon, that's danger. Last time we end up with stains on the couch that ain't pet stains. And it didn't sound like food stains neither. So again, she already a liability. Why have her back? Why not take the pets to a pet hotel until you can get back and friends don't invade privacy like that? She's not your friend, sis. Exactly. I said, well, she's not your friend. She's not your friend. First of all, I would feel uncomfortable staying over. I'd probably be in the living room with the TV, and it better be a pull-out sofa because I ain't going anywhere but the living room, the bathroom, and the kitchen. The dogs, we gonna take a little walk, and that's it. I ain't even going anywhere. I may contact you and say, hey, where do you have extra of this? And then you give me permission. Oh, the linen closet in the primary bedroom got extra towels. Okay, bye. I will ask permission. You just need to be able to be, in communication. But I'm not going all over the house and getting your clothes. Where's your clothes? Didn't you bring clothes to the house? Oh my word, I am wigged out. Yes, it's very creepy, and I obviously missed out on that part of the conversation. What a disturbing individual. I don't even want to imagine what that is. She already, destroyed a couch. I wouldn't have her over. I wouldn't have her watching my dogs and all of that stuff. I don't understand why they would consider her a good friend if she's being paid. She's an employee. Right. We ain't giving you, she's a 1099 subcontractor. She's got to go, just Rhonda said. Just put the key in the mailbox. She got to go. Why are you wearing my clothes? And then, too, the clothes I haven't even worn. That, too. Even if it's one of my used T-shirts or whatever. But you are digging in the closet, finding stuff that ain't got the tags on it, that has tags on it, taking off the tag, and you wearing it around the house. What? Oh, heck no. Oh, heck no. Now you got to pay. You got to pay for that. You see that tag? Run me my money. Pay me for that because clearly you just bought it. But again, did we have a conversation? You said you had issues the first time she house sat. Did you have a conversation telling her what the boundaries are this time? And is it that you didn't even cover wearing your clothes, so she figured it wasn't on the list? Why are they not mentioning this to her anyways? The first thing I would have asked, why are you wearing my clothes, you creep? See, because they're far, they're long distance. You don't want her messing up your house further because she knows you're far away. You need to throw the sofa and the clothes away. I don't know the price tag. I don't know the price tag of the clothes. Because if you could afford to have all these people coming in taking care of stuff, cleaning twice a week. It may be a substantial amount, but yes, they may be able to afford to throw out those clothes. At the age of 32, doing childish things. Thank you, K Sharp. It is childish things. It is childish things. Y'all, what do y'all have in the comments? Please put it down below. Let us know your advice, because my advice is come home and end that friendship, because that ain't no friend. Come home and end that contractor contract. She is not going to be house sitting, dog sitting, pet sitting, none of the above. There's actually a way that you could go online and actually find actual professional house sitters that won't be wearing your clothes, and you're already paying them. So get with that program. Get with that program, because clearly this is no good friend. She wearing your clothes, your husband's clothes, and putting stains on your furniture. She need not be there. She's now a liability. She is costing you. She is costing you. She needs to go. So y'all, let's go on to the next one. To the next one. Let me pull it up right here. Whew. This one is, again, we always got a hygiene one. My 44-year-old male boyfriend's bad breath is affecting our relationship. And this is a 39-year-old female. We've been together for 2 years. Call him Big G. He's tall, handsome, smells great overall, a very attractive man. But, I'm someone who is mentally stimulated and highly sensitive to things like smells, visuals, and hygiene. I don't know how she says it, but she said G is a hygienic man, and I love that about him. He brushes his teeth twice a day. But starting about 4 to 5 months into our relationship, I noticed his breath would smell bad more often than not. It isn't about bad oral hygiene. He seems to take care of his teeth, but his breath still stinks. I love being close to my partner, kissing and cuddling, but the issue has made me hesitant. I brought it up to him multiple times in a gentle and constructive way. I always start with a compliment about his hygiene before addressing the issue. Okay? At first, he was defensive, but over time, he tried to make changes. The problem is he's inconsistent. Sometimes I notice an improvement. Just when I start relaxing and feeling close to him, it comes back. It's hard to predict what version of his breath I will encounter, and uncertainty is killing the vibe. Now, y'all, we have had this before. Girl, it's something with his stomach. We could tell you it's something with his stomach, something with his diet that is coming out in his breath. If you're saying, if we are to believe you, his oral hygiene is on par, he's brushing, flossing, taking care of his teeth, then it is probably his stomach. Miss Boogie Down says he may have halitosis, and that is medical. Maybe ask him, and if so, go with him to the doctor, and he might just need to change his diet. He may have a bad tooth, so he needs to see a dentist because it could lead to an infection. Take him to a PCP, child. Sounds like he's not brushing his tongue. It could be the scraping of the tongue. That was the next thing I was going to say. I said what I said. That hygiene is very, very necessary. You may need to visit a doctor and get it checked out because he may have an undiagnosed ulcer. I know people who've had an ulcer, no matter how much they brush their teeth, their breath still stinks. The breath usually stinks until the ulcer is dealt with, after which the unusual and sometimes heinous smell goes away. So, young lady, this one's going to be quick and easy. Doctor, dentist, medical attention. Something else is going on. And, if he is anything like some men, he may not want to go to the doctor. Or if he's going to the doctor, he's not telling them exactly all that's going on. If you like him, as you call him, Big G, if you like him that much, certainly his health is a priority, and you're bringing this for unsolicited advice. So we are giving it to you. Take him to the doctor. Go with him to the doctor and make sure this is talked about and addressed. He may be embarrassed, okay? And he doesn't understand the medical professionals exactly who he needs to talk to about it if he's not talking to you about it. But at least you said he tried. He's just inconsistent. So at least he's listening. He got past defensive And now he's being, trying but not consistent. So he's getting there. Yes, big G with the bad breath. She likes him. She still likes him. She still want to cuddle up to him, but he needs to breathe in the other direction. I'm sorry. I had to say it. I had to say it. I really did have to say it. Y'all, that one was a quick and easy one. Let's get to the next one. We have only one more after this one, and y'all know it gets spicy and spicy. So this one said, my husband, okay, he's a 39-year-old male. His friend, a 40-year-old male, sends him videos and pics of himself doing sexual stuff. That the Jerry Springer am I supposed to make of this? Says, sweet Lord, my life has turned into a Jerry Springer episode. I don't know what to do or feel as my husband, a 39-year-old male, and I have been married for the last 8 years. In a moment of absolute weakness, I checked his phone. I know it's not okay. I told him what I did, but that's not what the post is about. One of his friends, a 40-year-old male, sends him explicit details, images, and even videos of his intimate adventures. This friend mainly sleeps with other men. It's like super explicit stuff. For example, the friend with another man. How am I supposed to react to this? And why would your friend even send you something like this? So his friend, who is part of Rainbow Coalition, is sending him, your husband, explicit videos, pictures of his escapades. See, you checked the phone. You knew you should have. You knew you shouldn't have checked the phone, but I don't know if you feel the same now. So the friend just wants him to know, hey, this is what I've been up to. How often he been watching this? How often he been looking at this? Is he a part of one of his friend's conquests in the past? That would be my question. Is he part of one of his friend's conquests? Did you check the footage going way back? Is he a part of it? Now, we are in a society that is, based on hypocrisy. We are okay with a man, watching two ladies be together. But we're in a society where it is, man on man is frowned upon by the ladies. I'll put it politely that way. I said what I said says, more important, why would your husband be interested in looking and keeping the pics and videos? Ooh, child. Ooh, child. I wonder why she's checking his phone. They've been married for 8 years. They were past lovers. Your husband, bye, girl. Are you saying bye? Yeah, you said B-I, not bye-bye. If you're checking his phone, you already know in your heart that something's wrong. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to do that. He clearly needs to be told to set boundaries with a friend and stick with it. Why is anyone sending and receiving those types of videos to a married friend? To a married friend. I don't want to see my single friend's escapades. Not at all. I know you. I know people watch corn, but those people are people you don't know. For many, those people you don't know. I don't want to see my close friends in those positions. If he's unwilling to set boundaries and stick with them, it's an extreme red flag. You need to consider possibly leaving him. They probably have a closer relationship than she thinks if he feels comfortable enough to send that to the husband. Yes, to go to Africa. They have a very close relationship. File for divorce immediately. Hi, Vibe told you. File for divorce immediately. You went fishing and you found a big fish. Your husband's friend sending him stuff of his escapades. Again, I wonder, do you know if your husband is part of this footage? What is he keeping and using this footage for? Why? I want to know what the husband said. We were cut off. That's all she told us. We were cut off. That is all she told. That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. She said, how am I supposed to react to this? And why would your friend be sending you something like this? I don't even know. It doesn't sound like she went to the husband yet. It doesn't sound like it. She says, how am I supposed to react to this? She hasn't gone to her husband. So that's why she probably doesn't have a follow up for us as to what he said. She probably scared to go to him, scared of the answer. Many people would be scared of the answer. Like, how does my husband? How do I approach my husband that your friend is sending you, your male friend is sending you his intimate videos? How do they call it? Amateur porn videos, and for you to watch it and sending you photos. How are you to react to that? How do you approach him with that? Honey, I went through your phone. She certainly can't go to the friend. Or can she? Should she approach the friend and ask, well, why are you sending this? Now, some folks may just delete it all or remove it all somewhere else on a separate cloud he can't access and see his reaction. But you got to talk to him. Say, hey, wait a minute. You've been married for 8 years. Not Aries, baby. We need the truth. Tanya, yes, we do need the truth. Everybody needs the truth. She already has her answer. She just doesn't want to accept the truth. She doesn't. She does not. Is she entirely sure of the orientation of her husband? Now, y'all, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. The husband's orientation, he may be faithful to her. He may watch and see and whatever, and he may still be faithful to her and to their relationship. Because we don't judge harshly ladies who date other ladies and come back and have, a husband and family. Hey, Lindsay, glad to have you here. We're on our second to last story. Go to the doctor, check for STDs. It's one of the first things she should do. She doesn't know where his friend has been before or after she talks to him. So why is your friend, who is a gay male, sending you his amateur porn, his intimate pictures, videos, and all of his escapades? Why is your husband keeping this on his phone? Again, lady, you have to have this conversation. It's all above. I want to know from my husband first, then I'm talking to him, taking him to dude and asking what the entire F is going on. That's just me. Libras are the scales of justice. We are the police officer, the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury. Life without me. Okay, the scales usually have 2 levels. Those are a lot of levels, high vibe. Q Ronald Isley, keep it on the down low. That's what he'd been doing, down low in his phone, and he knew his wife wasn't going to check it, and she finally does check it. And she finds a friend that's been sending it. Now you need to have the quiet, polite conversation and watch his reaction. What are you doing with these? Why are you keeping these? What is the nature of this relationship? How long have you all been friends doing this? Because clearly they've been. From my experience, most straight guys don't have LGBT friends. They stay far away from them. I said what I said. I understand. I know. I see. I have. That is usually the case. There are some exceptions, but that is usually the case. I'm all of those stereotypes of a Libra. It's weird as a gay man to send some naughty stuff to your supposedly straight married friend. Inappropriate AF. And as his wife, I would feel totally violated and uncomfortable. We've got to check the friend definitely and the husband. Because even if this was a hetero friend, again, it is inappropriate. This is a married friend with a spouse. Why are you sending this type of stuff to your married friend? It's unacceptable. So I don't care about the orientation at all. It is disrespectful to his marriage and disrespectful to his wife. Stop sending it. Don't do it. I need to have a conversation in public because my response may not be acceptable to me. How is the response not going to be acceptable to you? You're the one responding, K Sharp. Right, it's inappropriate in any way. I would be so angry and clear that my husband is leading a double life. Right, high five. That's why I gotta ask the question. We gotta dig deeper. Pun intended. We gotta dig deeper on this. Why is your friend sending you their amateur corn? Why? You are a married man. There's no reason you as a married man should be getting this. There's no reason. And the wife has totally, that's why she said Jerry Springer. She knows exactly what's going on. She knows exactly what's going on. That's why she used the term Jerry Springer. She thinks she's in a Jerry Springer where the husband's cheating and she thinks it's a lady and it's not. Okay? That's why she uses the word Jerry Springer. Young lady, those words alone and a few others tell me that you have suspicions. So if you have suspicions and you wish to leave, I'm not advocating either way. A local advocate, Lindsay, is here. I don't know which way Lindsay wishes to advocate for. But, lady, I would gather that evidence and sit and watch the behavior. Watch the behavior. Because you're going to have to gather your evidence for divorce. And I'm sure it's right there. If they all think that everything is hunky-dory and is going as usual, there have been slip-ups you have not noticed. So just gather your evidence for your lawyer if you wish to depart. But if you wish to work on this relationship, you got to have a conversation. Maybe, sign up for a therapy and a therapist so there is a third party hearing this disclosure because you may need this. I have gay male friends and know that most of them have sex with married men who claim to be straight. Okay, to go to Africa. Run, Forrest, run. Wincy, I like it. I thought I said Lindsay, but okay. I thought I said our local advocate, Lindsay. So y'all, let me know in the comments below what your, unsolicited advice is for this young lady. And we will get to our last topic of today. Y'all, it's the spicy one. It's the really spicy one. So let me pull it up. So it says my boyfriend, 29-year-old male, wants a male threesome with me, a 22-year-old female. I, 22-year-old female, and my 29-year-old male boyfriend have been dating for a while, but have been on and off. I will admit I'll admit we had one with his friend after I felt, upset and just disgusted with myself. He didn't understand because he said I was having fun in the moment. Shortly after that, we broke up, and I feel like I gave up for no reason. Fast forward, we get back together, chat about where everything went wrong, and that we're going to try, to both be parts of a healthy relationship towards healing. I also mentioned how much I didn't ever want to do a threesome again. Over time, he brought it up time and time again. I just stayed silent. After a while, he wanted me to talk to him about it, essentially role playing like if we were. I felt like it has absorbed our relationship and that he can, it's what he consistently desires. When we got back together, I admitted to him that I was with somebody else. Mind you, I didn't think I was getting back with my partner, but it just ended up that way. I finally told him last night, after a million times of showing no interest, that I'd never be the person for him again. After he suggested, why don't we try again? I want this to be time that, I want to be there for the time that he says he wants to be basically watch if she gets with someone else. Says, guys, I'm a monogamous girl at heart. I truly, and once I'm in a relationship, I don't care to have another man in my life. The threesomes I did was a mistake, and I feel like I'm compromised for him. How do I go about this? Seems like it's taken out of the headlines. She's going to have to be very strategic and walk away from this relationship. I'm not comfortable with both of us liking the sausage, not judging, just not the lane that I drive in. I'm with you, Miss Boogie Down. I mean, it can get real dicey, pun intended. It can get real dicey. Because again, This is not what you want. Why are you getting back with him? Tanya B here says it quite plainly. Leave. Leave. You're getting back together because he wants it again with her. Does he really want a serious relationship or just a seg partner? She needs to visit a freak conference because I cannot get down with this. Maybe he needs to visit it because he's looking for a partner that likes on his level. Now, your man is a freak, and if you're not interested, let him go. This is very messy. You need to tell him that you should not be together anymore. He needs to find someone healthier to be with. Now, he just needs to find someone who enjoys what he enjoys. Someone who enjoys what he enjoys. You clearly don't, young lady, so you need to leave. Stay broken up. Now, I'm a person, I don't go back for seconds unless it's food on a plate, not relationships. I don't go back up in and out, like on and off. I don't understand that because I don't do that. If we're done, we are done. It is a sexual mismatch. Big no. Exactly. Exactly. Leave, move on. No need to have a prolonged conversation about it. And I'm hoping exactly what's in the headlines is telling you, young lady, you need to just go. Because, second of all, you came back, you set your boundary, and he doesn't want to stick with it. He's saying, no, we can do that. Or if you want to be with someone else, I want to. He's not respecting how you wish for a relationship to be. So just let it go. Let it go. Because clearly, where he wants to be is not where you reside. Not at all. And you don't want to be where he is. Let him go. Find someone who is on that level, who may enjoy the same things. I'm not going to shame him all for what he likes. What I am going to say is, sir, you're not listening to the boundaries your girl has. So it seems like you both have an idea of what you want in a relationship, and it ain't a match. It's not a match. So you need to go your separate ways. You need to be over here with your monogamous relationship with someone who is on the same level, intimate wise, with you, young lady. He clearly is not. Now they're in their 20s, okay? They are in their 20s. He probably wishes to experiment more. She's 22, he's 29. He wishes to experiment more, and that's okay. As long as it's a consenting adult or consenting adults. As long as you do so safely. But again, he's not respecting your boundaries. You need to go. As clearly what we're seeing in the headlines are telling us, you need to run quickly. Because you don't want to end up testifying about all these things that you're doing because you couldn't leave. Leave, young lady, please. Now, y'all, consciously I'm not talking about the large headlines about that case. I feel like there's a ton of YouTubers who are covering it, much better than I would. My channel is just going to be where you can come, get a little laugh, you could get some serious advice, and we could talk about music, especially on Friday. If you missed last Friday, a good time was had. A good time. Unsolicited was, or unscripted, sorry, was a good time on Friday. But this channel, we'll talk about it like here. I bring it up because someone else seems to be in the beginning stages of where the most recent witness was. And that is how I would address it, unless y'all want to discuss certain things. I am following the case, but I just didn't want this channel to kind of like be boggled down with following. Because once I get on a story, I usually stick with it, and I stick with it like, to the point of I need to let it go. 2 sausage breakfasts at Denny's is no longer offered. Is her name Denny? Lindsay, is her name Denny? The 2 sausage breakfast is no longer offered. You and Miss Boogie Down are taking me out with these sausage references. Friday was popping. Thank you, Samantha. Yes, I have to schedule this Friday. Elsit Unscripted is on Friday at 5:05 Eastern Standard Time. I do have a post. Because I am unscripted, it will be whatever you want me to talk about, and we go wherever you want to. We were 2 hours, so let's have a fun 2 hours, taking the conversation wherever you will. But if you post, under the post, it looks like a flash pin. If you post a topic on Elsid unscripted, we will bring that up. And then the conversation goes where it goes. Thanks, Samantha. But everybody, yes, Lindsay, Lindsay, our advocate, is telling us the 2 sausage breakfast is no longer offered at Denny's. I don't have a Denny's locally by me, so I will definitely take your word for it. To go to Africa said it was really a lot of fun on Friday. So, y'all, what is your unsolicited advice for this young lady? I think we all have the same 5-letter word for her: leave. Leave. Go find someone who is on your level, who enjoys what you enjoy, and leave that young man to find his own way, because y'all aren't going in the same direction at all. And as the other advice everybody said, because it was a part of your life, please go and get tested and make sure you stay safe out there in those, between the sheets, in those streets. Y'all just leave your unsolicited advice for her in the comments below. And again, Tuesday, I'll be covering Somebody's Son, maybe with my guest, actually Aubrey, or I may go solo. I'll see what she's up to. Later on today at I think 5:05, I'll be on actually Aubrey's podcast talking about Never Ever Met, which I also did on Friday on Another Round JS. Wednesday we'll be back for unsolicited advice, and then Friday we will be unscripted. So I hope you are subscribed. I hope you have that notification bell on so you know when we go in live, so you can have some fun times with us. And send me, on IG. It's right there. Send me your IG. Let me know if you have something to talk about, because today we talked about the blind date where she brought 23 family members and he left her with the bill. So y'all, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.